Hello, everyone. I'd just like to say a few words in the wake of our 2024 presidential election, which occurred the evening before the recording of this message. Firstly, congratulations to Donald Trump on becoming the 47th president of the United States come January 20th, 2025. Just as I congratulated President-elect Biden in the last election in 2020 and wished him well in his term, I hope that President Trump succeeds as president and hope that his successes will be America's successes as well. I also want to acknowledge that there were many election officials who were involved in ensuring that we had a smooth process and that we had free and fair elections. And it's really incredible to see that kind of work across the states, because remember, a presidential election is not really one election. It's 50 states and DC with their own rules and personnel and leadership and everything that comes together. This is truly quite an exercise of democracy for all these different voting systems to come into play into one U.S. presidential election, one that is free and fair and that upholds what we believe in democratic values. For those on the winning side of this election, be kind to those around you. Even if people didn't vote for your candidate, be sure that you reflect the best and that you demonstrate a level of civility to your fellow citizens. Because in a democracy, there are going to be winners and losers in every single election. But that doesn't mean that winners are more American and that the losers are less American. It just doesn't work that way. We are all Americans. And we have an obligation as citizens in this democracy to uphold that civility, no matter how tough it is, no matter how much people want to gloat. I would just say refrain from that. Be humble. Recognize that we have a lot ahead of us. It's imperative that people start accepting and start realizing the results here and not use the results to feel superior towards other people who didn't vote for your candidate. If you are on the losing side of this election, be kind as well. I completely understand that it is incredibly disappointing to lose an election. Don't lambaste the winning side, complain that the winning side cheated somehow, because that is not true. Realize that this is just one election and that there will be more elections in the future. I know that people feel that somehow the country's lost and whatnot. I never felt, ever in my life, that any one election is going to determine the fate of this country. Clearly, every election is consequential. There's no question about it. Every election is important. But one has to remember that part of a democracy is learning how to lose when you lose. Because I can tell you that there are plenty of people around the world who would love the opportunity to realize that they can lose an election and have a real chance next time. So be sure to remain civil and perhaps congratulate the president and his supporters, maybe supporters that you know of, and realize that the president's success is America's success. If the president can deliver a foreign policy victory, that's good for America. If the president can keep people safe from terrorist attacks, that's a win for America. Realize that there are a lot of opportunities for Americans to come together to recognize common wins. Given the political climate, obviously it is very difficult for a lot of people to realize that we have a lot more in common than we like to admit. But in the wake of this huge Democrat exercise, which we all did together, by the way, I just find it is so significant for us, whether we are on the winning side or the losing side, to celebrate this exercise of democracy that no other country can replicate. Think about that. Even if people voted or didn't vote in elections, but were part of the citizenry and we're part of the conversations and the mingling about politics or whatever it is, whatever people are embarking on. There's so many different ways of contributing in a democracy. As we've seen with this election, I think that this is a culmination of resilience among the American people, and that we can withstand a lot of things when we stick together. We're not going to always agree on the policy issues. Our candidates are certainly not going to always win, but I just sincerely hope that in this day and age that we realize that there's greater possibilities when we become better versions of ourselves. And that is my hope. I will certainly be a part of that to look and see how I can do better as a citizen. And I hope you will join me in that exercise to make our democracy even better than it already is.